ERi-TV news broadcast crew and I, Dalit Sahaya, are now ready for your daily news briefing at 10:30 local time. But first, let us catch up with the major headlines. Graduation of 37th round of the National Service. Eritrean delegation participates at Executive Council of African Union. China-US top diplomats hold pragmatic constructive meetings. Russia 500% secondary tariffs won't derail Russia's policy. On our local news, the graduation ceremony of 37th round of the National Service was colorfully conducted today in Sawa, featuring a rich variety of musical performances by graduating class. The graduates successfully completed their 12th grade academic education along with political and military training. The ceremony was attended by President Isaias Afwerki, senior government and PFDJ officials, military commanders, other government officials, as well as parents and invited guests. In his keynote address, President Isaias Afwerki referred to heritage of resilience that the current generation is shouldering. They urged the graduates continually pursue higher academic achievements to acquire greater knowledge and professional skills, noting that this critical component is multiplying factor of the national progress and development. In his report, Colonel Debesaigede, commander of the National Service Training Center, stated that the center implemented a program aimed at developing the psychological resilience, morale, and physical fitness of the National Service members during their year-long stay at the center. Eritrean delegation led by Mr. Binan Berhe, Eritrea's ambassador to Ethiopia and permanent representative of the African Union and the Economic Commission for Africa, participated at 47th session of Executive Council of the African Union held in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea on 10th and 11th July. The session, moderates by Ambassador Teta Antonio, Minister of External Relations of Angola, and current chairman of the council, included a presentation by Eritrean delegation outlining Eritrea's policy and stance on a key issue discussed during the session. The Eritrean delegation noted that the session was taking place amid systemic global change with direct implication of peace, security, and development in Africa. It stressed the importance of the African Union dedicating sufficient time to reflect and reach a common understanding on the magnitude of these changes, as well as threats and opportunities they present. The delegation also pointed a significant gap between the member states are willing and able to contribute to the Union's budget and actual financial requirements needed to support its growing list of programs. It highlighted that 77.4% of the Union's 2026 program budget would need to be sourced from external entities, a situation described as unsustainable and risky, especially given the recent dramatic decline in aid flows. Regarding structural reform, the delegation underlined the process has remained pending for 7 years after its launch. Meanwhile, new offices are being created, while existing ones struggle with staffing and funding shortage. It called for expedite reform alongside the effective enforcement of moratorium on creating new structures. The session concluded with the adoption of the African Union's 2026 budget and discussion on finalizing the structural framework of the Union. MINFK College of Science conferred first degree to 291 graduates at its 18th commencement today, 51% of whom are females. The graduation ceremony was attended by ministers, senior government and PFDJ officials, as well as parents and other invited guests. The graduates include 64 in biology, 80 in chemistry, 31 in earth science, 39 in mathematics, 31 in physics, 46 in statistics. Speaking at the occasion, Professor Gabriel Asgadom, Dean of the college, noted that the number of the graduates increased by 20% compared to 2023. He also reported that college has graduated 4,150 students in first degree postgraduate diploma programs over the past 17 years. The honorary guest Mr. Tesfaye Gebreselassie, Minister of Land, Water and Environment, emphasized that producing citizens equipped with knowledge and technology is essential for effective execution of the National Development Programme. He also commended the strong effort the government of Eritrea to realize comprehensive development and ensure peace and stability for the Eritrean people. A representative of the graduates expressed gratitude for the occasional opportunities, affirmed their commitment to live up to the expectation of the people and the government who supported their academic journey. At the event, outstanding students were awarded medals of recognition. Dear viewers, we'll be back with the international news shortly. You stay tuned. Welcome back. China and the United States agreed on Friday to strengthen communication and dialogue at all levels and various fields, including through the diplomatic channels, as Foreign Minister Wang Yi and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio held a bilateral meeting in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. According to the readout from China's foreign minister, the two sides also agreed to leverage a role of diplomatic departments in advancing bilateral relations and to explore expanding areas of cooperation while managing differences. Both sides agreed in the meeting was positive, pragmatic and constructive, and ministry readout said. It was the first in-person meeting between two top diplomats since Rubio assumed his current post in January. Both were in Kuala Lumpur for the series of meetings in East Asia cooperation. Wang, also a member of the Political Bureau of Communist Party of China's Central Committee, elaborated on China's principled position in developing China-US relations and emphasized that both sides should translate the important consent reached by two heads of state to concrete policies and actions. He said it hoped that the U.S. would view China in an objective relations and pragmatic way and engage with China in manners of peaceful coexistence and mutual benefits to jointly find a correct way for China and the U.S. to get along in the new era. On our last news, Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov said on Russia will adopt if the U.S. imposes 500% secondary tariffs on Russia trade partners, and such restrictive measures will force it from its sovereign cars. The U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters on Tuesday that he is very strongly considering backing legislation that would impose the massive levels, expressing unhappiness with his Russia's counterpart, Vladimir Putin. The bill designed to force Russia into composing on Ukraine conflict was proposed by Russian House Senator Lindsey Graham on earlier this year. Western governments imposed an unprecedented slew of sanctions on Moscow following the escalation of the Ukraine conflict in 2022, aiming to undercut the Russia's economy. Moscow also condemned the restrictive measures as illegal. According to Putin, the sanctions were doing more harm to Western nations than Russia. The more sanctions are imposed, the greater the damage to imposers, he said in a Eurasian Economic Union summit in Minsk last month. Reports indicate America and its allies has imposed countless sanctions on Russia since 2014. Dear viewers, we've come to the end of tonight's news. Let's have a quick recap of the headlines. Graduation of 35th round of the National Service. Eritrea's delegation participates at Executive Council of African Union. China and US top diplomats hold pragmatic, constructive meetings. And Russia 500% secondary tariff won't derail Russia's policy. That wraps up our stories for tonight. Thanks for watching and have a good night.